Good morning, interwebs. It's 5:12 in the evening, and today it is snowing. Now, they had called for 1 inch to 3 inches today. It's supposed to start around 10, but it didn't start till about noon. But we have gotten quite a lot of snow. So, there's all this snow on my stairs, and Steve covered this up before he went to bed about an hour and a half ago, and it's already got a decent amount. It's just coming down. Steve has the Durango parked at the top of the driveway so that he can get out when it's time for work. But, yeah, dance class was canceled. I guess they did an early dismissal on the schools in the same town where my daughter has dance class. And when that happens, or whenever the schools are closed because of weather or what have you, or like school holidays, then they don't have dance class. That's just how they run the schedule. So while we were sitting down to lunch, we got a text message saying, hey, no dance. So it meant I didn't have to go out in the snow, which is just fine with me. I really was not looking forward to it. So I kind of thought they might cancel. So just been hanging out, trying to feel better. Feeling a little better. Been super low-key today. Cleaned up the kitchen, made lunch, hung out with Steve for a little bit. That's it. And then I was just watching things on YouTube and sitting tight. I haven't even been crocheting. Oh, I guess I've already edited the vlog for tomorrow. But other than that, I've done, like, nothing productive. Just trying to get better. Coughing my lungs out, literally. You know, try to clear them out. Coughing them out. And, yeah. It's actually time to go make some more coffee. I just put, there was enough water in the filter finally, so I filled up the percolator thing. So I just need to go and grind some beans. I was going to do it earlier, but everyone was at rest time, and they were having difficulty with going to rest time, so I thought better than grinding coffee beans. But now that everybody's up, I can go and grind some coffee, and it is for everybody's benefit that I make some more, because I've only had 1 cup today. It was quite delightful, but another cup will be even more delightful. And then I haven't decided what we're going to have for dinner tonight, but maybe I'll make something kind of like toasty and warm. I don't know. I'll have to think on that. So, watch. I say that, and then we'll have something like salad. But, I don't know. Okay. Going to go and make my coffee now. It is about 4 in the morning. I'm about to go to bed. But before I go, I thought that I would tell you a bit about my evening. I spent my evening after everybody went to bed working on a shawl. I just working on designing a shawl, which is not something I've been spending a lot of time doing, despite the fact it is something I enjoy. So, it's about a year ago, a little less than a year. Well, I guess about a year ago, I had been selling patterns to a website, and that was all well and good. The owner of the website was not one of the fibery folk. It was just somebody, I think, who saw a potential business to capitalize on, as opposed to, like, somebody who feels a passion for fiber arts and thus, like, develops a business around it, which I think is more the direction that, like, I lean. But at the time, it was particularly nice to be able to be paid for something I enjoy doing so much and wanted to do anyways. Without having the overhead on my end, which is kind of cool. But ultimately, for those of you that have been watching for a long time know, that all petered out, and yeah, so I'm not doing that anymore, and I haven't been since, like, the spring. Well, they were spring patterns, the last batch. It's around Easter time, I think. But that's not really important. It is only important in the fact that since that happened, I cut back on the amount of designing and things of that nature that I was doing. Now, obviously, if you follow what I create, I rarely follow directions as given by others, and certainly not following them to a T, but I have not been going out of my way to, like, write those things down in any way that is intelligible for another person. Because, I don't know, I was discouraged, I was upset, I was annoyed, I was sad, I was all sorts of, you know, all negative sounding emotions about the whole thing, because the situation that I had been in was kind of too good to be true, and, like, I recognized that, and I was very much like, I'm gonna ride this while I can, because it's too good to be true, and it was, ultimately, but it was ultimately very frustrating for me, as a creative person when you feel like that creativity is not being, I don't know, like respected or something. So, all of that led me to shy away from doing the activity I liked. I mean, that happens in lots of areas of life. Like, in lots of areas of life, you have like a bad experience, and so then you like shy away from doing the thing at all because, you know, otherwise you might have another bad experience. Life is full of bad experiences. But, I like it. And I don't know whether other people like and or care about things that I design. Which I think is also a thing that feeds into it. But, like, I don't know that that's a reason why I shouldn't be trying to do things. I don't know. But, for those of you that do not know, designing things and designing things well takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. It is one thing to, like, on the fly make something out of the top of your head. Like, that is a skill. I agree. But, not being able to replicate it is just part of it. Like, when you do that, you can't do it again. You don't have to explain to anybody. It doesn't have to be right, because you're not going to make it again. But when you need to make something that is replicatable over and over and over properly, that is just harder. And you have to do it over and over and over to make sure that you did it right. You can't just guess. So, I have a difficulty putting a lot of that effort into things that are not going to provide any potential for monetary gain. Like, it doesn't have to be huge, but, I mean, if you're going to do it right, I think it ends up, like, needing kind of a payment component. I don't know. I feel like that sounds just terrible, and I know lots of you are going to sit there and disagree and be angry about it, and that's fine, because I mostly use free patterns, too. But most of those people who put out free patterns are in some way making money. Either they're patterns through a yarn company who is paying their designers for patterns, or they are patterns on somebody's blog which is covered in ads and they're making AdSense revenue off of them. Or they are written by people who dye or make yarn and it's their way of selling the yarn because some people only make patterns in the yarn specified in the pattern because, I don't know, people do that. I've never done that, but people do that. But there's a lot of monetary things combined. And it's not even a lot. I think it's not even enough to really recoup the time or the energy you put in, but it's just like a little bit of validation, I guess, for what's going on. I don't know. But I don't know. It just got me thinking about patterns and things because part of the reason I have difficulty with free patterns because I don't have any of the things set up right now to make all those monetization things happen. Which, you know, yeah, like I was saying, that kind of becomes a component that's important. But, the idea of selling patterns, like charging people for my work, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know that the people who would want the things that I'm making would want to pay for them. I think that's part of it, which might be, like, just, you know, self-esteem issues or something. Like, nobody wants what I'm making, or I don't know. But there's definitely fear of, like, you put something out there, you ask people to pay for it, and everyone just laughs at you. Or, I don't know that this stuff is good enough. That's probably part of it. And, there's a lot more work that has to go into things. Like, I feel like if people are going to pay you for the pattern, it has to be tested a lot more thoroughly and also written a lot better. When I put things up for free, I mean, you get what you pay for. I think that you have to keep that in mind. Like, when you get a free pattern, I don't think it's the designer's responsibility necessarily to, like, there might be some, like, hiccups, or there is some portion of you need to know what you're doing, like, to get yourself out of things you don't understand or problems you create. I don't know. But I definitely look at when I use free patterns versus paid patterns differently. But I don't know. I was just having, like, thoughts about patterns and designing and money and, like, and not even lots of money, just, like, money to buy yarn to make the next thing. That sure would be nice, huh? But, oh, I guess I should show you what I worked on tonight. So, what I worked on tonight, I was doing this because right now I'm finally not coughing, but I have been coughing constantly all night long. So, I chose not to sew because I tried and I could not, like, do it long enough without coughing constantly to make it worth my while. But with this, I could just stop hooking when I needed to cough and then go back to hooking, you know? That's how that works. But this is some of my new yarn. This is the beginning of my new shawl, at least as it stands right now. We'll see. I'm going to go sleep and think on it a bit, and then come back to it tomorrow or when the moon strikes me. But so far, I was enjoying myself, and I was sitting there with my laptop on my lap, typing up the rows as I went. So instead of my usual haphazard, hand-scrawly mess that I then have to weed through later, I'm trying to do it better from the beginning. So maybe it will be less effort. I don't know. But that is just what I've been doing tonight, and that's just what's been on my mind. If any of what I thought about those things offended you, I'm sorry. Please ignore them and move along. Because I know that people have lots of feelings. Whenever you bring up money, it gets people all sorts of weird, and money involved in creative endeavors and blah, blah, blah. But some people would like to make not even a living, but like I said, some supply money back on the things that they're creating, and I think that is completely fair. Clearly some people exploit that fact, but like, I think it's fair. So, I'm gonna go to bed now, and I will see you all tomorrow. Nighty night.